Hey, it's Harry Tess here, back again, but this time I'm talking about science fiction, and I chose Star Trek as the subject matter. And I'll start by telling you how I got into it. So this is around 2016, 2017. I was a diehard Star Wars fan, so much so that I refused to watch Star Trek. Admittingly, at the time, I'd seen the first of the new movies that had come out, and I was super impressed by that. But I don't think I told this person I'm about to tell you about that part. So that's new to them. I was having an argument at a bar really late at night, and we'd had this argument several times. Like I'd say probably more than 10, which was better, Star Wars or Star Trek. And I would always say Star Wars. Like I was immovable from that position.
We can stand here all day reminding ourselves just how much we hate each other, but you don't have the time.
And she would always say that it was Star Trek, and she gave good reasons why. She said, like, there's things about it that made it feel more real. Like Star Wars is myth almost. Those were good reasons to start watching Star Trek. The one thing that she said that finally got me was probably the most simple answer that she could have gave, and she probably could have led with that. But she said flat out to me, if you haven't seen Star Trek, you aren't entitled to an opinion of it. How can I have an opinion on it without having seen it? So out of anger, rage, spite, whatever you want to call it, I started Star Trek, like just from the beginning, the original series, worked my way all the way through. And while I thought the entire time that I would finish it and at the end be triumphant in saying, like, I can't believe I wasted all my time, is the contrary. I'm a huge Star Trek fan now. Up to date. I watched Discovery, I watched Picard, I watched Lower Decks. Like, I'm really excited for the new show, Beyond Strange New Worlds. That's coming out soon on Paramount Plus. So looking forward to more Star Trek. I'll take more of it. So I'm going to give you some reasons why I think that you might like it. Reason number one, optimism. There's just like this innate optimism that's just consistent in Star Trek all the time. Like, I love seeing the potential in humanity of being kind to others, and I think, like, we could all just use that. Like, if we're watching something new, why not have it be something that makes you feel good about the future? And even though there are terrible things happening at times in Star Trek, the ending is always optimistic. It paints a beautiful picture of how humanity could overcome issues that we have on our own, and then join a federation of planets that does nothing but tries to altruistically help whoever they can, whenever they can. They've just figured out a lot of the problems that we're struggling with now, and have moved past them and moved on to bigger things. And I think that is just incredibly optimistic when you think about our future. One example of that optimism can be shown when Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was trying to get Patrick Stewart to play Jean-Luc Picard as captain of the Enterprise in Star Trek The Next Generation. One of the things that Patrick Stewart said when he was talking to Gene was that it didn't make sense for him to be captain because he was bald. How could there still be baldness in the future? Gene Roddenberry said, no one cares.
You enjoyed that. You're damned right.
Like, it's just like no one goes out of their way to make someone feel bad. It's just inherently part of being human now. It's just like, we're not mean to each other.
In the Star Trek universe, people are not judged by how much money they have and what they look like. They are judged based on their character, based on their actions, what they say and do.
So being bald in the future is a non-issue. And after hearing that, Patrick Stewart signed up to be Jean-Luc Picard, which brings me to my second reason. When we talk about captains, they're pretty much as high as you can go. It's only the best of the best that make it to that level of being able to command a ship. And personally, I think Picard does it best. Patrick Stewart is a good-looking man. I can't deny it. You can't deny it. And not for nothing, his acting is just incredible. Acting-wise, definitely, bar none, the best captain. Jean-Luc Picard, as a character, is someone who embodies all of the principles that humanity has now set themselves to. Like he's someone that is looked up to. He's a pinnacle. People would join Starfleet because they were inspired by things that they heard that Picard did. There's no such thing as the perfect human being. Like there's got to be something, you know, wrong with this guy. And you are 100% right. That brings me to my third and final reason why I think that you should watch Star Trek. Even though we were given these figureheads of what humanity can possibly be, probably the coolest thing about Star Trek is that even though they've achieved and they've shown these morals and principles that go beyond, they're still inherently human. In Star Trek, it shows that. It shows not only them, like certain characters in their professional growth, but you see them work through very human issues and things that you would think are trivial, that, you know, maybe if we've already eliminated war and world hunger, like you wouldn't have issues with your siblings still. There's a great episode of Next Generation where Jean-Luc Picard, literally the whole entire episode is just him and his brother working out their personal issues because they still had trouble talking about some things. Now you see human growth, even though this guy is looked up by everyone. So Star Trek gives us these incredible characters that are just morally overwhelming. What makes Star Trek most relatable is that even though these people are achieving incredible things and are inspiring tons of people, like I can still relate to Picard after being assimilated by the Borg, going back to the winery in France to work things out with his brother, because like they've always been at each other's ends, you know, because that's human. I can still see what's happening in these moments as being so relatable and having this human quality despite being foreign and far away from me. When you have these stories that are being presented by any of the Star Trek series, it's just, there's real substance to having these super outer worldly concepts, but still inherently having this human quality that's never gone away. And what can be more human than admitting that I'm wrong? I was wrong. At one point, I thought that I would never watch Star Trek. Star Trek is actually really good, and I was wrong. And here I am, making a video trying to convince you to give Star Trek a shot. Now, I'm not going to commit to which is better. That's not what this video is. Without a doubt, I am watching considerably more Star Trek now than I am Star Wars. And that could be for a multitude of reasons. I am enjoying optimism right now. Star Trek does that for me. In addition, like they're putting out a lot of like new stuff. Star Trek Discovery is, I think, on their third season. Picard got his own show, and that we're waiting on season 2. And Lower Decks is the cartoon, which is made by someone from Rick and Morty, is in on that. And it's like, I don't know, it might be the best Star Trek. I'm not sure. It's the jury is still out on that one. And then there's new ones that are coming out. So as far as who's making more moves right now, Star Trek is making more moves. If anything, Star Wars has been kind of disappointing lately. So if you see like these power moves that Star Trek is making, it's obvious right now they are gunning for a new generation of fans. And I couldn't be more excited to see what they have in store for us as fans. You know, when we started this thing, we said that we were going to do some science fiction videos. This is my first video on science fiction. I am delivering. I hope that you give Star Trek a try. I honestly think that there isn't a better time to get started on this.